Imagine capturing your audience's attention in just a few seconds and holding it long enough to tell your story, showcase your brand, and drive action. That's the power of video marketing. It's not just about views. It's about creating a connection, boosting your visibility, and turning viewers into loyal customers.
Hey, welcome everyone to Wednesday's live, coming in live. And I wanted to share that video that I quickly created using one of the multitude of platforms that are out there that you can use avatars for. And that one was from Synthesia. So today's live stream is on the topic of getting started with video marketing. Can't speak today. And I want to share some best practices for those of you who are perhaps on the fence and not really sure about whether video is something that you should be focused on or if it's right for your business. So I want to walk you through a couple of the best practices to keep in mind, but I want you to be aware of the fact that video marketing is not just for established entrepreneurs and businesses. It is also a tool that can be used for new entrepreneurs or new businesses because it can be a cost-effective way for you to create a strategy for your marketing that allows you to stand out and apart from the competitors that are in your niche. So that is definitely something that you want to be aware of. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments, and do remember that next week's live stream is going to be me responding to questions that have been already submitted to me. So if you have any questions, post them on any of my lives that I've been doing this month, but also shoot me an email. If you're on my email list, I've already sent out an email, and I think it's going to go back out again because I've gotten some submissions. So by all means, if you have any questions that you would like me to address, this theme for August was back to basics. So anything in reference to video marketing, video creation, video production, all of those different things, we can talk about them. So let's get started. So the first best practice that I want to refresh everyone's minds about is the importance of knowing who your audience is. You need to tailor your content to the needs and the wants of your specific ideal audience, addressing whatever their pain points may happen to be. So you need to address those things based on you doing your due diligence and you doing your research and finding out what are the pain points that they're experiencing, and in comparison to the solutions that you are focused on, and then therefore you'll be able to create the kinds of content that they would want to see. Next, you need to set goals, and you should be pretty clear on what these goals are. And I know, and I've probably shared this with you over the course of all of these different live streams, is that a lot of what I'm sharing with you and telling you would explain to you that would be beneficial to you are mistakes that I made, things that I did not do. And one of them was not really setting specific and clear goals. And that was partly because I didn't really know what my goals were. So some of the things that you may want to think about is, with regards to video, is your goal to become aware to people that don't know who you are? And bear in mind, just because you have a website, and just because you're putting, say, for example, monthly blogs on that website does not mean that you are actually building awareness or enough awareness that people will find you. People aren't going to automatically know what your URL is to type that in. They're not going to automatically know what it is that you do and have a clear understanding of what you do simply by reading the text on your website, even if they are able to find your website. So you need to know, is it that I want to build brand awareness, which every single one of us should be wanting to do, because if they can't find you, they can't hire you. Do you want to increase sales? Maybe you're doing all right, but you want to grow a little bit more and increase more of your sales. Or perhaps maybe you're someone that is somewhat established or just at the brink of becoming established, and you want to do more things like speaking engagements, but you need to have some content that's out there that shows that you can do speaking engagements because you're knowledgeable on particular topics. Video is a really great vehicle for you to use in order to get found and spotlighted as that. So set what your clear goals are overall, first and foremost, for why you even want to create videos in the first place. The third thing that you want to do is you want to plan out your content. And this could be as elaborate as having a bona fide calendar, whether you're using Google or Outlook or whatever other calendars you have access to, and mapping out on a monthly, a weekly, or even a daily basis what kind of content you want to be creating, both visually as well as just for posts and things of that nature. And the reason why you want to do it for everything is because you want your social media still image posts or text posts to correlate with what you're talking about in your videos. So really plan out your content accordingly so that you can have an idea of what you're going to be talking about. I've been doing that this year. Each month I had a different theme and topics that related to that theme within each live stream. My methodology for 2024 was to do live streams primarily because they were, and I'm sorry for repeating myself consistently, but primarily because that was an uncomfortable area for me. And I wanted to get more comfortable doing live streams, getting into the habit of how do I prepare for it. And the first thing that I did is annually, I mapped out what I wanted to talk about each month, just with a theme. And then every month I go in and I tweak that, and I then decide what are the 4 or 5 topics that I'm going to talk about related to that theme. In some instances, I've actually changed the theme based on whatever may have been happening for that month. I think I changed the theme for August, but I could be wrong. I can't really remember. But having a content calendar doesn't mean that you're like, I cannot deviate from this and I have to stick to it. It's just giving you a general idea of the things that you want to talk about, and then giving you some ideas of specifically what can you share with your audience relating to the issues that they may have based on whatever that theme might be. The other thing that's important with your content calendar is selecting a schedule that is doable for you. Select a schedule in terms of the frequency that you're going to do it. That's doable for you. A week at a time, 1 video per week is a good schedule, but it can be kind of hard for you to keep up with it, regardless of whether you're doing it as a standalone set of videos, meaning that you're doing it pre-recorded videos, or you're doing live streams. Both can be time consuming. The pre-recorded videos actually work when you are able to bulk or batch record at one time and then schedule them in advance. With live streams, you just need to do the prep work in advance and then come live, and you don't have to worry about editing and doing all of those types of things. So really choose, and we're going to come to formats next. Choose the schedule, the frequency, whether you want to do it once a month, once a week, twice a month, whatever the schedule is that you can handle, because you can always get more frequent. So I would start at what is tolerable for you and then get more frequent the more comfortable you are doing it. Next is video formats. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. So video formats are important. And when I say format, I'm talking specifically in reference to the type of video, and type and format and style kind of gets interplayed. But I'm talking about whether you're doing a live video like this. And live videos are really good if you want to have instantaneous interaction with your audience. That's how that is really good. So you can do like live Q&As, like my next week's video is going to be, or you can do presentation type videos like I'm doing today. So live streaming is definitely a way for you to urgently get your content out there. If there's something that's time sensitive that you do, live streaming is definitely one way that you can do it. Other formats, styles, or types of videos would be explainer videos. And explainer videos are good if you really need to explain something that might be complicated or a little hard for people to understand. And it could be in terms of a concept, it could be in terms of a product, or it can be in terms of a service that you're creating. One way that you can do this too is, especially if you are in an industry where there's certain terminologies that are unfamiliar to the general public or even to your ideal audience. They may know what their pain point is, but it's articulated differently in your world because you're using jargon that is what you guys do and maybe not what the customer would use, but the customer is experiencing an issue that pertains to that. You can do an explainer video that explains what that terminology is, who it's for, the other ways that people have described it, so that they can recognize, okay, yes, that is something definitely that I need. You can do product demos, and that's when you're basically showcasing the features and the benefit of a specific product. You can do tutorial videos, will fall into that as well, where it might be something that is on as a software, or maybe it's a website that you need to walk someone through, and you can certainly do how-to or tutorial videos for that. You can create testimonials. Testimonials are a great way to show social proof, to prove your credibility, to build that know, like, and trust factor by your ideal audience seeing videos from existing or past customers or clients and them sharing their experience of working with you. And then there are things like animated videos. I dabbled in animated videos a long time ago. I have not dabbled in them recently, but that is an option as well. Those actually work well in the explainer category, but they're good if you want overall to tell a story. If you want to share a story about a client, about an experience that the client had working with you, or a problem that they had, then you can use those types of videos. Nowadays, I think I shared this with you last week, creating animated videos are going to start to get a lot easier as time progresses with AI tools. And like I showed you at the very beginning of today's broadcast, I created a video without me in it. It just had an avatar, it had a moving background on the background of it, and it had a AI generated voice. You can do all of that featuring yourself with AI. So you don't have to get dolled up. You don't have to turn lights on. You don't have to get in front of a camera, but you would still be able to create videos where it's not you technically. Now that's not considered an animated video, but it's an AI generated video. And so that is still an option for you. If you are going to create videos on your own, like what I'm doing, whether you're doing it as a live video or if you're doing a pre-recorded video, it's important for you to make sure that you have the right equipment. It does not have to be the most expensive, but it does need to be high quality. And by high quality, I mean, if you're doing a webcam or using a webcam as I am, use one that can record in HD. Mine can record all the way up to 4K, or use a smartphone. And these smartphones nowadays also record up to 4K, but you would need to get the accompanying tripod or some sort of a clamp that can go onto your desk so that you're not physically holding the camera on your own. You definitely need to invest in a microphone. If you are using your webcam, you need to have a USB microphone, and any of the USB microphones that are out there are really good options. If you're using your, and I think you can do this if you're using your webcam as well, but if you're using your smartphone, you definitely want to use a lavalier microphone. So I would invest in a lavalier. I do have one right now, but it's a plug-in lavalier. So it clips to me, but it plugs into my phone. And I do plan on getting an wireless lavalier microphone in the near future, but you certainly can invest in that. And they're not astronomically expensive at all. And then the last bit of equipment that you would need is a lighting. And the lighting can be, the light source can certainly be the natural sun that's coming into your room. It all depends on where you're located. Right now, there is a window that's behind me that's open, but I also have lights on in my office. I have a ring light to my right, and I have a box light that, believe it or not, today is shooting up to my ceiling, which is white. So it's bouncing down and providing me with enough lighting for this particular filming. And then I also have some ambient light in the background that is from my lamp that's on my desk, just so that that area in the back doesn't appear too dark. So definitely you want to make sure that you have those pieces of equipment when you're filming yourself. You want to make sure that you have a script or an outline, and you want it to flow in such a way that you're grabbing the audience's attention when it starts, and then you're able to keep them throughout the video. If you have the skill set to create stories as you're conveying your message, then by all means do that. When it comes to editing, there are a lot of tools that are available that are affordable to the most part, and in more than likely you're going to have to spend some kind of money on your editing unless you're using a tool that comes with your computer. So if you're iMac, it's iMovie, and if you're PC, I think it's called Clip something. I can't remember the name of it, but I would recommend actually investing in better editing so that it is much easier for you to be able to use. And there are editing platforms that are out there that I would invest in if I were you, if you absolutely hate editing, because there are platforms out there that you can use that will automatically edit the videos for you. So that's definitely something to consider. When you have finished editing your video and you're ready to put that video on YouTube, you want to make sure that you're optimizing it so that it can get found in search. As you know, YouTube is a search engine. If you didn't know, it is. So it's important for you to use keywords in the title of your video, in the description of your video. You should also make sure that it is transcribed for captions, because all of those things lend themselves well to being able to be found in search. And you can certainly make sure that you have the alternative ways of talking about whatever it is that you, the topic that you're talking about, as your tags. So do not forget that. Next, you also want to, after you've uploaded that video to YouTube, you want to remember that there are other places that you can promote that video. So you want to basically be able to promote it besides YouTube on any other social media platform where your audience is hanging out. So if your audience is also on Facebook, say, for example, you want to have a shorter version. It could be a highlighted clip. It could be just a shorter version of the video that you are creating for them, and you want to market that video on the platforms that they're hanging out on. You also want to not forget about putting your videos on your website. What you can do is you can turn that video into a blog post and then feature the video in that blog, or on a blog that is related to the topic that you're talking about. So it doesn't have to necessarily be like literally a transcript of the video that you're creating as a blog post, but it could be on the topic of what you're talking about. You also want to share your videos to your email list. A lot of people tend to forget that. I used to. So you want to share your content on all of the platforms in all of the ways that you can, so that your audience can see it. the last thing that you need to do is take an assessment of what you're doing, review what you're doing, look at the analytics, look at the views, look at the engagement, see where people are dropping off, make your improvements, tweak, and then repeat. You have to constantly experiment when it comes to YouTube. There is no hard and fast rule for any singular person. What works for me may not work specifically, identically for you, meaning that the platforms that I'm on, the types of clips that I might use, the types of videos that I might create may not necessarily work for you. So you need to find out and tweak based on what your specific audience is interested in learning. If you need help, I'm going to get to the questions in a minute, but if you need help and you want to learn more, definitely click on the link in the description or the ticker. You can grab my video creation toolkit that has some ideas of some tools that I recommend and just the process that I would recommend for you to get started. And if you ever want to follow me, you can follow me on here. You can follow me on LinkedIn and on YouTube. I'm here every week on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Next week, remember, I'm doing a live Q&A, and that's it. So let me get to the questions. Thanks, Electra. Thanks for the lavalier microphone recommendation. You are quite welcome. And then you're going to look into Opus Clips. Yes, Opus Clips is definitely my go-to tool for creating clips from long form video, and they can take it from the link from YouTube, or you can manually upload the video from your computer. They also have scoring in that platform. They're not the only ones that do that, but they definitely have that. They've now added in the ability to insert B-roll into your clips. You can do specific branding. I mean, they're adding in a lot of capabilities, and they're constantly updating that tool and improving on it. So I definitely highly recommend, if you want to take your long form videos and get clips out of them, Opus Clip is the way to go. And CapCut, I have tried in the past. It is definitely a really, really good tool to use. They too have improved their platform. If I'm not mistaken, they now also offer automated editing. I have not tested it out yet. I've been meaning to get in there. There are just so many tools to test. So I would definitely check them out and see what their capabilities are in terms of automatically editing, because I know that that's definitely an area that a lot of people are having issues with. It's not something that comes naturally to a lot of people, and it seems like it can be a tedious task if you're not absolutely in love with it. So thanks for those questions, Electra. And let me know if you have any other questions. Again, next week I'll be addressing Q&As. And what I tend to like to do with my Q&As, that's why I want them in advance, is if I have the ability to show you and do it quickly, I want to do that. So my answers in some instances, depending on what your question is going to be a show and tell, if you will. But then the ones that I can address live and on during the time, I will certainly do that. So thank you so much for being here. If you're on the replay, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. All right, take care. Bye.